Oh, hello world. Welcome to Comic Book News. I'm your old pal, Dan Shaheen. Today we've got a pretty fun show, man. I met somebody. I met a dude who lives in my county that is actually in the comics industry. I didn't know that there were that many. I'd heard of a couple. I didn't realize that there was somebody who not only is in the comics industry, he's like not a Johnny come lately. He's been in it for a long time. In fact, he started naming some of the books he's putting out. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. And that was pretty good. So we're going to talk to Don Chin of Parody Press. And we're going to talk to him about, well, we're going to talk about comics, of course. We're going to talk about the history of Parody Press and how they got their start. And we're definitely going to talk about Adolescent, Radioactive, Black Belt, Hamsters. How can you not, right? If you're going to talk about the wave of post-TMNT kind of knockoffs, well, the creme de la creme was Adolescent, Radioactive, Black Belt, Hamsters. It was fantastic. High-quality cartooning. That's what I remembered. I remember it being like a cut above. It wasn't just a cheap cash grab. It was like, hey, this is a pretty good comic, too. And he sent me some copies of some of that old stuff, too. And we'll look at that. And I'm remembering, oh, yeah, Templeton and other guys that are like, oh, yeah, these are solid. These are solid comics. So it's going to be really fun to talk to Don. We're going to talk to him about what? Oh, man, we're going to talk to him about Beardzzerker. All right, what's Beardzzerker? Well, if you're going to parody comics, you parody the stuff that's selling, right? Because if people don't know what you're parodying, they're not really going to understand the parody. So Beardzzerker is the new Keanu Reeves IDW property. You may remember we had Ross Ritchie from IDW in here talking a little bit about Beardzzerker and how, and since then it's been picked up by Netflix. It's become one of, if not the best-selling comic of all time in the direct market, certainly in recent years. It's got that star power. It's got that heat attached to it. It's got that Netflix deal attached to it. So that can't hurt sales, right? So what do? You ride that wave. You put out a parody. Where's Mad Magazine, right? Well, this wouldn't even be on Mad Magazine's radar necessarily, because who's parodying? Who's looking at the comics industry and doing parodies of what's coming out there? It's Don Chin and Parody Press. We're going to talk to him. But first, I want to say, hey, thank you for watching and subscribing. If you haven't already, consider clicking that little subscribe button down there. I know we were supposed to talk to Brian Hitch last week. Mr. Hitch is under the weather. We've got him coming in soon. I don't have a date specified. I'm not going to pressure the guy because, frankly, I'd rather have him working on making what are some of the best comics in the industry than coming in here and gabbing with me. So I'm going to wait till he's feeling better. I'm going to bring him in. But next week, oh my gosh, quite an exciting show. We've got Slow Death Zero. the classic underground eco horror reborn. We're bringing back Ron Turner of Last Gasp and his son Colin Turner, co-publisher, and the editor John Cook. They're going to come and talk about this and some other things as well. Who's better than Ron Turner? Nobody. That's who. I love those comics. I love Slow Death. I think Slow Death is, to me, Slow Death is a cut above Zap Comics as far as underground anthologies, just because of its message, its meaning, it's the great work that's inside there. Okay. I hope you'll tune in to see that show next week. I hope you'll tune in for the future shows. I've got some weird and crazy stuff planned here. But for now, let's bring in somebody brand new to the show. Let's bring in Don Chin from Parody Press. Hey, Don. Hey, welcome to Comic Book News.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks, Dan.
Hey. Oh, man, thank you for coming in. And what a pleasant surprise to find out that you are from, live in Eureka, California, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road from me.
Born and raised, man. I've been here for like almost 60 years.
Whoa. Okay, so like Eureka, let's talk famous Eureka. It's a pretty historic town, right? And this area in general is fairly historic.
Yeah, I love it. My family's still here.
Uh-oh. Don froze. You froze for a second there, Don. I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time?
Sure. I was born and raised here. My wife's from Arcata, and I raised my daughter here. And yeah, a lot of roots. Are you a Mr. Bungle fan? Yeah, actually, I know Trevor Dunn and Mike Patton. Mike Patton used to work at the record album store, The Works, down in Old Town. I used to buy my albums from him. And then Trevor, who's in Mr. Bungle, was in like a lip sync band with me when I was in high school.
Whoa. I was half kidding, man. I didn't know. That is so cool. So, all right, give me some. What's the other? Okay, that's another Eureka. That's the only Eureka famous thing I could really like of modern vintage pop culture. What else you got for Humboldt County and Eureka?
What else do I know? I had a real estate related chat with Sarah Bareilles' dad like about a year ago. So that's something. And she's from Eureka. People, she's kind of a pop star, Broadway. She made it big on Broadway. I mentioned John Pound. He's an underground guy that kind of did stuff around the Slow Death era. I think he did like dope comics covers that were really cool airbrush stuff. But Slow Death, I had that. I used to go to this head shop down in downtown Eureka called Fool's Jewels. And they had a spinner rack full of underground comics. I didn't go there for the paraphernalia. I just went there for the comics. And that's why the Hamsters kind of has this underground vibe, because I grew up reading like the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers and Crumb. And so most people kind of get introduced to comics through Marvel, which I did, but I had kind of this weird, sense of humor, and undergrounds appealed to me.
Well, and those were the ones you named, and many others were just really great, high quality, just fun to read, that weren't just for kids, like little kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely stuff that wasn't for kids, but they sold it to me anyways, even though I think I was still in high school.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, for sure. But I was thinking about it recently, man, because if it wasn't for those comics specifically that you read and others like them, living in a suburban kind of California upbringing, wasn't as exposed to underground and counterculture ideas as much as you would think. But for those comics, they really were like a vector for those kinds of ideas and thinking of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I got into that. And then Parsonovich, who was the artist on the Hamsters, he was into Von Baudet, Mobius. We devoured Heavy Metal magazine. It was like our high school Vice back in the day. And so I just kind of remember, those underground guys really were just as big of an influence as guys like Kirby and Lee to us. And you have the Charlton shirt on. I was a big Charlton fan. I would pick up their books on the spinner rack, like E-Man, and then John Byrne's early work, Raj 2000. So I love Charlton comics too.
They were great. We got a few comments. I think I said IDW is producing Beardzzerker, and you mentioned no, it's Boom Studios, of course. My apologies to Ross Rich. I get all these upstarts mixed up. Not many have been as around in the game as long as Parody Press, though, Don. What was the first book? Was it Hamsters?
Well, the way that it worked, Dan, back in the day, you remember Eclipse. They were based out of Guerneville. Yes. And so I met them going to creation cons when we were doing our fanzine called Overload. Dwayne Flatmo, who you probably know is a really well-known celebrity up here, he did some cover work for us on Overload, which my friends and I did in high school. And then we started publishing 5 issues. And eventually we got distributed through Bud Plant back in the day. So we did this kind of underground fantasy humor magazine called Overload. And at the cons, we would go to try to, promote our book. I met Dean Mullaney and Kat Ironwood. And then lo and behold, I didn't know they were based in Northern California. So when Turtles came out, I was running a comic book store in Eureka, and I got some issues in, and I said, oh, this is a really funny book, and I guess it's selling like hotcakes. So I asked Personovich, maybe we could spoof it. So that's how I came up with the Hamsters concept at Humboldt State when I was in my final year at Humboldt State. So he drew this 31-page comic, and we just shipped it off sight unseen to Eclipse, and they decided to take a chance on it. So that was back in '86, right when you were doing, I think your comic book thing. And then
86, young Danny was 11 years old. I was working for $2 an hour in store credit at Mike's Coliseum in San Jose.
Slave labor.
No, slave labor was up the street at Dan Votto's store, which later became Slave Labor Graphics, of course.
Yeah. Anyways, Eclipse did a few parodies with me, and Hamsters, it was just supposed to be a one-shot, but I think it sold like 53,000 copies in the direct market. So it really caught them by surprise. And they said, why don't we go ahead and try to make this a series? So we ran like 9 issues. We did the 3D books, a couple of Clint miniseries, and so forth. But then Eclipse was starting to have some financial issues, and they kind of phased out in the late 80s, early 90s. So the last book I did with them was X-Farce with Bill Mouse, which was our very first collaboration. And then the next year they had already folded. So Bill Mouse and I said, well, we can do this parody stuff on our own. And that's how Parody Press was born.
I see. Okay. And so who was the first Hamsters artist?
Personovich, which was my Eureka High School cartoon mate. He had a real underground, really crosshatchy. A lot of people said they don't even look like hamsters, which I thought was kind of funny, part of the gag. But and then after that, Sam Keith came along on issue, I think he was issue 6 through 9.
Oh, wow.
Personovich was really meticulous, so he couldn't really keep up with even a quarterly book. So he kind of had to bow out just because it was too much work.
Oh my gosh! I guess I did not even realize Sam Keith did Hamsters. You're blowing my mind right now, Don.
Yeah, Sam. He was in between. He was just inking Mage back in the day, and he wanted to show people he could pencil. So I met Sam at these cons as well, and we hooked up. And I said, I need an artist on Hamsters, and it was just the right place at the right time.
Oh boy, can he pencil or what? Huh? Do you think he can pencil?
He's like, I've been away from comics for like many years, and now I go and he's got, he's like the modern day Wrightson, I think, to a lot of fans.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, but let's talk too about Ty Templeton, though.
Yeah, Ty was doing Stig's Inferno for like some Canadian indie or something. I can't remember the name of back in the 80s. And I, being a comic book store owner, I got to see just a wide variety of different artists and styles. And so running the comic book store, I was also simultaneously publishing the Hamsters. And so eventually the money was better in publishing. So we I basically sold my partnership to the comic book store to somebody else. And my wife and I decided to, start the Parody Press thing. But Templeton was somebody that I saw, and Eclipse had a relationship with him. So when they said we want to do a 3D issue, I said, that'd be great. Who do you have in mind to draw it? And they said, well, Ty Templeton. And I said, that would be awesome. And to be honest with you, Dan, his version is probably my favorite. He only did one issue. And there's like the sleeping bag prototype on my back wall that's like a one-of-a-kind, sleeping bag design. That's his design of the hamsters on the back. Oh. But he did this great, we did this spoof of professional wrestling on the 3D book that you have, and I really loved it. I wish he could have done more, but I think he was just, that was just something to pay the bills for him. And then he's kind of like his own, he's got his own ideas, and he does a great Batman, as you probably know.
He's amazing. He's an amazing cartoonist. He really is. And we'll look at the 3D issue here. We'll pull it up on the old $1 Million Comics Cam pretty soon.
Hey, I don't know if you knew this, Dan, maybe you did, but Billy Graham, the evangelist, Ty Templeton's dad was like his right-hand man for a number of years until they had a falling out. And I think he went completely on the atheist side. But there's these movies that portray Billy Graham's like not a documentary, but actually like a movie. And they actually have Templeton's dad as one of the characters in this movie. I think they show the rift and everything. So when I found that out, I went, that just blew my mind that Ty was related to this guy that was so close to Billy Graham.
Fascinating world.
Small world.
Have you seen The Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
No, it sounds good though.
Oh, check it out. Yeah, check it out. It's in that world of evangelism and stuff, and it's quite good. Okay, so I got a couple of we'll go to some comments from fans too, and we're going to say, here's one. I wonder if Shaheen will roast Don for promoting his new projects or making friends with Comicsgate channels. The answer is, of course I will. Are you kidding me? Why? If I had known that, I wouldn't have even invited. No, of course you get. I don't have anything. I got Comicsgate friends. Dan Fraga is a friend of the show. He's been on this show, and I'm scheduled to be on his show sometime soon. Awesome. So yeah, no, I don't have a problem with you promoting your book to people that read comics, right? And that's a comics reading audience.
Yeah, I'm here to spread love and laughter because we all need it after 2020 and 2021. So that's what Parody Press is about, to try to make the world laugh again. And we're not here to make enemies.
No. So okay. Somebody's talking about the Raphael Grandpa Berserker. Okay, so let's talk about Berserker for a second, because man, this got on your radar. Like, how far ahead did you have to prepare this? Like, when did you first know that this was coming as a comic? I guess when the Kickstarter launched? Right.
I saw the Kickstarter, and I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan. And so when I saw his promotional video that he did for Boom, it was exciting to me, and at the same time, I said, this has parody written all over it. So I came up with the concept last fall, and I wrote the script. It was done like at the end of September, and I had to kind of wing it because I didn't know what the story was about other than what Boom Studios had put in their website. They showed not really a whole lot of sequential art, but just a lot of covers. So I got a bunch of cover artists to do spoofs of those as I was writing the story. So we have 6 variant covers, and we spoofed the Keanu Reeves trailer in the Beardzzerker trailer, pretty much word for word. So if you want to play it, we had a voice actor. He did the Keanu Reeves voice, and we tried to duplicate Keanu's conversation that he has with the fans for our book, and it seems to be pretty well received. People seem to get a kick out of it.
I'm showing the 6 here. I don't have the video downloaded, and I could not find the link to the Indiegogo campaign for this. Like when I searched for it, yeah,
we're in pre-sign up. So if I tried to buy the domain name, so you should just be able to go to beardzzerker.com, and it should take you to the Indiegogo pre-launch so you can sign up. And then we're having a launch party tonight on a guy named Michael Bancroft's channel. So that's at 7 p.m. Pacific. But if you go to Indiegogo and you just search Beardzzerker, it should come up, or just go to beardzzerker.com. And the video is on that page. So if you want to share it, it'd probably be easier to stream, or I could share on my side.
Well, this is it with 2 Z's, right? Beardzzerker with 2 Z's.
Yeah, that should take you to it.
Okay, well, so why do you think this is resonating? Why do you think Beardzzerker is selling as well as it is? What do you think is the what's happening that's making this pop right now?
I think Keanu's kind of had a renaissance as an action hero with John Wick. And I just jumped on the John Wick bandwagon like last year. I'd seen these movies coming out and I didn't really watch them. But then after I saw the first one, my wife and I said, we got to buy, the second and third one. So we actually own John Wick. And then I just think he's such a likable actor. He seems very down to earth and good-hearted, and people just like him. I mean, I have ever since Bill and Ted and all those other movies. And
what is it about that guy?
Just to have something a guy that's such a big superstar artist, actor, do a comic book. I think fans were that was just kind of a kick in the butt that our industry needed, because things seem to be just kind of, going downhill. I'll
tell you the truth. It is. I feel like it is a great move. And I feel like if it's successful on the Netflix platform, which it's been announced, I believe it's being picked up for. Okay. And then Keanu basically owns the lion's share of it, having, created the IP from the ground up. It creates a whole different model for him, like compared to, John Wick is what it is, but it's got many hands involved in that, or any of his other franchises, where this is something where he will have absolute creative control and financial control. And I think it opens the vision of what using comics as a springboard to larger media can do now that we're in this crowdfunded age. You can own something soup to nuts from beginning to end.
Yeah. It's pretty, his campaign to me was dynamic in that it just wasn't Kickstarter, but all the comic book stores are involved. So he's got the best of both worlds. I think it sold like 600,000 copies, and they've got dozens of variants. And it just seems like I reviewed the book yesterday on my morning coffee show on YouTube, and I gave it a solid rating. I said, it's, have you read it, Dan? Or
no, we don't. Did you see it in our local comic book store in Eureka, Don?
Yeah, Barry sold out, and then he had to reorder it. So I just picked mine up like a week ago, and I read it a couple days ago. And it has kind of a John Romita Jr. artwork feel, like when he was doing The Punisher. Super, super graphically violent. It's not, it's definitely a mature book. But if you like action, it's totally, from page cover to cover, it delivers what you would expect from, I think, what he advertised.
Oh, and we've got a drop-in guest, Don. Bill, are you ready? Looks like he's got his camera turned off now, but I wanted to bring in.
Come on, Bill. Don't be shy.
I wanted to bring in the artist, Bill Mal. I'll wait till I see that he's ready. But
okay.
So yeah, I think that so when you pick these projects, obviously, if you're going to pick a project to parody, it's going to be something that's hitting big. It's going to be something in the comics industry, and I think I agree with you that this has a chance to do something really big, just for bringing attention to smaller projects. Like, it doesn't have to be a Marvel comic to show that as a successful path to mass media.
Did Ross ever tell you how it came to be? I mean, did he approach Keanu, or I don't know how they, Boom is a relatively, they've been around for a while, but to land Keanu, I mean, I bet Marvel would have loved that.
It's amazing stuff. And we did talk to Ross, but we were talking about other books when he came in. We'll bring him back soon maybe and talk about this. I want to bring in Bill right now. Bill Mouse, welcome to the show, and I want to say first of all,
hey Bill,
thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I loved, your Pulitzer Prize winning graphic novel. I'm sorry about your father in the concentration camps. It's really.
Yeah, I did that. I did that under the radar. I wasn't really supposed to publish that.
I got my notes mixed up. I'm sorry. This is I almost thought Don Chin was Don Simpson because of Megaton Man. I get it all mixed up.
Hey, you see what happens? You see what happens? I show up with some track lighting, and people think I'm all kinds of people.
So Bill, okay, why don't you tell us about your association, what you're doing here on Beardzzerker. Get us up to speed.
I am the penciler and inker on Beardzzerker, and Don is the illustrious writer and the brain behind the whole thing. I'll probably add some sight gags here and there with his approval, but I'm the artist, and my daughter, the famous Cat Mouse, she's actually the colorist on the interior pages. She's actually, we just did the math, Don. She's actually a 10-year veteran of the comic book industry now. Can you believe that? That ages me quite a bit, right?
Yeah, man.
She's been working for 10 years.
That's awesome. Keeping it in the family, right?
Yeah. I try to keep her out of it. Being an artist, being a writer, it's a roller coaster ride. You really have to do it because you love it. Because feast or famine, there's really good times, and there's times where, you sort of wish you had a day job. So I kind of wanted to keep her away from it, but she just kept on coming back to it it's just a part of who she is. It's just so obviously she does it because she loves it, and she's actually doing well. She's the sport model. She'll be the 2.0, so she'll do way better than me.
Located, Bill?
What's that now?
Where are you located? Are you up here in Humboldt County too?
No, I'm actually in Virginia Beach now. Back where I grew up. I actually lived out in San Diego for about 12 years or so, and moved back and forth a little bit. And now I'm back where I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So East Coast guy again.
Oh, okay, awesome, great.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I meant great in the figurative sense. I didn't really mean it's all right out there. But I often wonder how people, like, especially once you've tasted California, right? And then you go to the East Coast, it's like literally frozen water falls from the sky and I have to pick it up with a shovel. Like, these things.
Oh, I know. Yeah. No, it was a big life change that brought me back to the East Coast again. I proudly became a single parent in the year 2000. So that's when I moved back to Virginia Beach. So I've just got more family and friends and support here. So raising a kid on my own, I needed to be somewhere where I had a little bit of that support already built in. San Diego, I miss San Diego. It's 75 degrees year round. Everybody you're surrounded by is a creative person on some level. If they're not a writer or an artist, there's somebody who's like a couple of friends of mine, they were shooting commercials. So I was carrying a stereo outside of a store for no reason. So I could be in a commercial that was only going to be broadcast in Boston. Little things like that. Everybody's creative. Worked for an animation company out there. I worked at theme parks doing caricatures. Got into comics, and I never looked back. That was sort of my first love that I wanted to get into in the first place. So once I got into the comic book industry, that's where I belong anyway. So everything else is gravy. Anything else I can get involved in is a lot of fun. But
so what's going on behind you? It looks like a convention banner maybe behind you. What do you promote when you're not promoting Beardzzerker in comics?
I'm just always promoting my webpage and my Facebook page. We've been Committed Comics has been publishing my creator-owned book, Nira X Cyber Angel. So we're always promoting that. We just had a couple of Kickstarters that were successful, and those were a lot of fun.
What's the website for that?
What's that now?
What's the website for that, so we can get that on the screen for people?
Oh, if you just put up my website, it's just www.billmouseart.studio, and I usually try to put up links for all my different things I got going on.
Okay, great, cool. So make sure to check out billmouseart.studio.
Appreciate
also,
it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and if you go to beardzzerker.com,
Yep.
that's going to redirect you here to the Indiegogo page. And I thought
Right.
we'll take a look at the Beardzzerker trailer. What do you think, Don?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do this.
Awesome.
Comics are totally awesome. And I'm totally awesome too. Beardzzerker has everything you want from a comic book. It's got great drawings, colors, great story. It's got great action, has a little romance, and it's about something. Not just any something. It's a parody of some thing. And I was like, well, I used to collect, and I love comic books. And they were like, so, did you ever want to make a comic book? And I was like, yeah. And then Parody Press was like, oh, yeah. So they made a comic book that's a parody of my comic book. And it will probably be pretty hilarious, because that's what a parody is. Or at least what it's supposed to be. You know, this idea of kind of like a rock and roll warrior, someone in an altered state, someone with a big guitar axe, and a pet cat that's from the hood, just out of control. Speaking of out of control, there's his beard. It gets bigger and longer throughout the book until it takes on a fantastical life of its own. It's like, whoa! So, check it out. If you do, I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. But honestly, I didn't really do that much, other than rambling on about comics and books. I mean, comic books. Wait, what was I saying? Oh well. Enjoy! Beardzzerker from Parody Press. Back it today!
There you go.
Awesome. You know, you could have told me that was the real Keanu, like, voiceover. I might have believed it for sure.
That guy did a great job. Am I right?
Yeah, he did.
He was on point.
So we've got Indiegogo campaigns in progress. We've got X-Farce Reloaded, Don. We've got Beardzzerker, which hasn't officially started yet, or does the campaign started today, right?
It's going to be launching at 7 p.m. Pacific time on a Michael Bancroft stream. So you're kind of getting the preview, which I think I sent you a link to the actual link to the campaign page. So if you don't want to just look at the pre-sign up, there's a link where you can show people what it's actually going to look like when we go live tonight. So if you want to talk about anything specific, covers or tiers, I have some samples of some of the stretch goals that we have for our supporters, and you can see some of Bill's artwork in progress with Kat's colors. So yeah, there's a link that should be in the private chat.
Huh? You're talking about to the Beardzzerker.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you in the private chat for us. So, or I could Facebook message it to you, whatever.
I got you here. I got you. This guy. This is what we want to check out. We can check out some of the.
There you go.
Perks.
Yeah.
Let me do this.
All right.
Let me do this. Perfect.
I don't know if
Okay.
Bill's seen this yet. Bill, have you seen this yet?
I have not seen this yet.
You
All
haven't
put together.
seen this
No,
yet?
no.
Okay.
That's a nice looking cover.
Yeah, actually, that's.
Wait.
I just got that in. I don't know if I'm gonna. It's definitely going to be at least a back cover. But this guy turned in this piece as a fan, or not a fan, but as an offer to me, and it was after I'd already planned the initial 6. But I like it so much, I had to show it off.
It's awesome. How do you get Alex Winter to get in on your campaign? That's what I want to know.
He had a pretty funny movie called Freaked that he directed that I thought should have got a lot more attention.
Yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. I remember a few projects that he worked on that were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us about these. Tell us about these stretch goals and the
sure
and the perk.
Well, the book's going to have a $15 cover price. It'll be a 32-page full color book with no ads. So with the 6 variant covers, our special perk is all 6. Instead of $90, you can get it for $75 on the launch. Or if you just want to buy individual covers, you can. They're signed free of charge if you would like them signed by myself. And one of the covers is by Bill. He gets to draw She, which is one of Billy Tucci's famous samurai heroine. And
this is the first time I actually have like official permission to include an actual licensed character in their original form within the context of a parody that we're not actually doing the parody of within the context of a book that we're parodying. So Billy was quite nice and very gracious to give us permission for that. That was really, really cool.
Yeah. So on the main page that you're scrolling down, you'll actually get to see the full covers of all the ones that are on the right. So feel free to take your time. If you have questions, we have She, we have Rainbow the Brute, which is Ethan Van Sciver's toxic masculine hero from like Fairyland. This is some of the color.
It seems appropriate.
Yeah, this is color work by Bill and Kat. Kanan White, he's a very talented artist. He does one of our variant covers where he's fighting a bunch of murder hornets.
That's a nice looking cover.
It's so cool. They turn in some really great stuff.
It's okay. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's okay. Man, you've got so many packs and so many tiers and layers upon layers. It's I mean, who do you see as the primary audience for something like this? Is this a Keanu fan? Is this a comics fan? Is this just anybody who likes funny comics is going to enjoy this?
Right. We're hoping for all the above, Dan. That's our goal, is to appeal to those that like Keanu, that like Beardzzerker, that like Mad Magazine, that like Parody Press. Mm-hmm. It's a fun book. I mean, Bill and I kind of grew up, watching Airplane and those types of movies. So we're almost kind of like a gag panel type of creators. And, we love Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine.
Well, that's one of the things I like about Don bringing back Parody Press in a real form, because growing up with Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine, I go to the store now and they're not there. There's a niche there that's missing from my news rack, and we did Parody Press for just shy of a decade, right, Don? It's like kind of filling up the comic book industry with our parodies. And but in the meantime, between this and that, Cracked Magazine and Mad Magazine, I don't see them on the news rack like they were before. And so if we could fill that niche and we can have fun in that space, that's just exciting to me. That's really exciting to be able to do that. And it's full circle. I'm getting reconnected with, but first of all, we're getting reconnected with Don and Laura, and getting reconnected with a lot of other people that we worked with back in the 90s when we were doing Parody Press. So it's a really good feeling to have that connection again, and to actually having fun. Because there's so many comics that I love to work on, different comics that are like dark and adventure and this and that, but I love doing comics that are just fun. Just having a good time.
I don't think there's enough of that anymore. I need a good what? What's the most fun comic out there? Bill, I'm putting you on the spot. Give me a fun comic. Or you, Don. I'm going to put it out there. The most fun comic I can think of, I'm going to say Sam and Max Freelance Police.
Oh, my gosh. That was
that's good. Steve
Purcell. I love, that's one of my all-time favorites. I like one from Alterna called Mighty Mascots. It's like, what if serial mascots formed a superhero team? It's all ages and very, very fun. And the creator of Mighty Mascots is actually lettering Beardzzerker. His name is Keith Gleason. So I highly recommend that one if you haven't checked it out.
Okay, I'm going to go away. More fun comics. What's more fun? What's more fun than Art Adams' Gumby summer and winter fun specials? Are you guys familiar with those? You got to be.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, I met Art back in the 80s when he was just non-published, in the artist alleys at these cons, and I actually picked up his pinups at the day that was like $20 for one of his pinups, and I don't have them anymore, but I wish I did. He was amazing.
Art Adams stuff is always so fun. I mean, I remember there was an annual, a Spider-Man annual back in the day, where it's like Spider-Man and Warlock was turning into all these really, really cool. Like he turned into Godzilla at some point during the story. It was such a great book, and it was an annual. It was just an extra thick annual. But
I'm trying to remember which one it was. Was it with Impossible Man too? Impossible Man and Warlock, or that was a New Mutants annual? I think that Adams.
No, this was an actual Spider-Man annual, and I don't think Art did the cover for it. Somebody else did the cover. It was like a real small version, a view of Spider-Man up on a wall with a big light. But he did all the interiors. I really miss him doing interior work. That's always, his stuff is always like super fun for me to look at. His work is something to look up to.
Absolutely. And I want to think what's more fun. Let's go fun. Let's go. I'm going to go to your era, Don. How about Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman? What's more fun than Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman?
Reed Fleming was really fun.
Who was it that put out Destroy?
Scott McCloud,
yeah.
Boris the Bear. I like Boris the Bear.
Boris the Bear, okay. Yeah, let's work fun comics. Come on, you out there in YouTube land. What are the fun comics?
Flaming Carrot. Sarah,
number one fun, Don. Flaming Carrot. I've happened to have an original Pop Burden hanging here on my wall right now.
That's awesome.
Oh, wait a minute. It's talking on my wall and fun comics staring me in the face.
The Batcave has plenty of fun comics.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, I highly respect your background.
Cheese. Yeah. Evan does the Bill and Ted comics for everyone.
What is more fun than milk and cheese? Almost nothing. It'd be even more fun if we could get Evan Dorkin in the studio one of these days. Wait a minute, more fun. Original artwork. Can we make this out on camera?
Yeah, I got it. I see it.
Oh, it's hard to tell. It's hard to see with the glare. Yeah,
Rusty. There you go. That's cool. That's so cool.
This is one of my treasures, man. That's
awesome, dude.
Dude, and speaking of treasures, though, guys, I think it's time we take a look back into the past, take a look at some of Don's comics, and how do we do that, Don? Do you know how we do it, Don? You know how we do that thing?
You showed me. I was impressed. It was like the $1 Million Comic Camp. Is that what?
You said the magic word. It's time for the $1 Million Comic Camp with the all new Stinger transition. Fantastic. Let's go. And how do we do this? Let's go to this way. Yeah, great. And we'll take a look at some of these hamsters, okay?
Yeah, that's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
All right, wait a minute. Don, me over here. Oh, sorry.
I think I sent you some of Bill's stuff too. There's maybe a Zen in there or a Nira, maybe a Nira X in there. Not sure.
Oh my goodness, all kinds of goodies for the $1 Million Comics Camp today, including, wait a minute, the goodie of all maybe is Don Chin's business card.
Hey, is that signed?
It is personalized on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Now we could frame it. Now we could put it in a little top
The
loader.
finest compliment I can ever receive is a referral from my friends and clients. Thanks.
That's my alter ego. I'm a
And we're
realtor
going to
by
talk
day.
real estate. I'm in the market, Don, so we talk real estate.
I heard,
after
yeah.
this thing for sure. Okay, let's look at what you sent me because these are some beauties that I remember. This is from my youth. Like these speak right to me, right? The logo, the eclipse style, this parody cover.
Mm-hmm.
One of the early covers of a comic that's been parodied a million times, but I don't know. Maybe Nat Rat Returns, I remember, was one of the early parodies of this.
Mark Martin. He was in one of the Hamsters issues, like our final issue.
This one much more subtle, but wonderful. What a great.
That's Ken Meyer Jr. He actually drew the inside, and it was inked by Mike Drigenberg, who went on to co-create Sandman with Neil Gaiman.
It's beautiful. The horror.
We made him a transvestite crime lord called the Queen Pin.
Oh man, yeah, great movie, great parody cover. We'll come back to those because those are so special to me. Let's look at this other stuff first, which is kind of more recent stuff that I wasn't aware of. I guess when something breaks big in the comics world, Don Chin is there.
Yeah,
right.
That was our last parody press book, like in 2007. We tried to direct market to see if it was still viable for parody press, and it sold okay, but it wasn't enough to really make a living. So we kind of laid dormant for about 15 years before we came back.
Yeah,
this was it. Beardzzerker. This was it, huh?
Right. Yeah, that one was more Mad Magazine style. We had Bill kind of draw the word balloons in that rectangular.
Bill, this is great. I hadn't even looked at this yet. This is fantastic. I love it.
There's a nice little mad cracked homage with the style and stuff. So that was a lot of fun to work on.
Great. Looks like fun.
We were kind of ahead of the curve, Dan. We had an animated trailer for this book back in 2007.
We did. That's right.
It's
you had to wait 20 minutes. You had to wait 20 minutes to download that 36-inch
dial up
back then. Okay, this is looking cool. Okay, so this was the last thing. What's this? I remember this, but
oh yeah,
number 14,
man. Yeah.
Number 14. I remember this series, but I don't remember much about it. How long did this go on?
Gosh, we did like maybe 6 different Superman spoofs. We did instead of Doomsday, it was Gloomsday. He was made out of oatmeal. This one had a Bill Mouse cover, but he didn't draw the inside. But he did do the death of Stupid Man. Which, Bill, do you have that artwork in your studio? That real pretty color.
You know what? I do. I do have that artwork.
Yeah, when you see this cover, this is one of the few remaining Bill Mouse.
This is the only original I have left at all from those years. That's the last one, and my daughter won't let me get rid of it. It's turned into a family heirloom, so now I have to stick it on the wall somewhere. But yeah, this is back. This is back before we had computers that could really handle any kind of coloring. So I was hand coloring and airbrushing and doing full color pieces on actual paper. Go figure. Yeah.
This is great interior stuff too on this one. Really stuff on this.
A guy named Mac Myers. I think he actually got a gig at DC drawing maybe Green Lantern for an issue. And then that's our entry into the Chromium cover era, when everything covered.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Shiny.
And I even got one that was signed by Bill there for you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's like the sports car of covers.
This is going right next to my Cyberfrog signed Chromium, I'm telling you.
That's a place of honor, man. Thanks, dude.
Oh, it is.
Put it right next to Ethan's stuff. That's awesome.
if you have not watched my interview with Ethan or our review on the $1 Million Comics Cam of Cyberfrog #1, it's worth your time. Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nira, this was just sort of a series, a non-parody series, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's actually we formed. Well, I'll let you explain, Don. Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, Parody Press was taking off, and we were doing great business in the '90s. But then we got the opportunity to do Zen Intergalactic Ninja, which was an Archie series for a little while, and the same guy that made the Turtles huge, Mark Friedman, was representing Zen. So we thought, oh man, this might be our chance to be on the wave of a huge Ninja Turtles, a second type of title. So Zen came to us, but it didn't make sense to publish it as a Parody Press title. Right. So we created this other superhero imprint called Entity. And so that issue that you have was the very first black and white Zen. And then Nira X comes in on the last page as a female mercenary that helps Zen. And Nira was so well received that we decided to spin her off into her own book. And here we are 30 years later, and Bill is still doing Nira X.
That's it. Yeah, Steve was very gracious. And Steve Stern and Dan Cody are the co-owners, co-creators of Zen Intergalactic Ninja. They were very, very nice and very gracious, allowing us to kind of redesign the character of Zen. Not really redesign him, but change his proportions a bit. Because the Archie series was really geared for kids. And we wanted him to be a little bit more lean and, ninja-esque. So he let us change the proportions of the character, so he's a little bit more action adventure. And he allowed me to introduce a lot of my own creator-owned characters into the stories, which gave me a launching pad for, like you said, like Nira X and all of her supporting characers.
Hey, Don, if you can't pull out one of these masks right now, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
I can't. I never had one. Even back in the day. I know. I had a couple of the little bendy figures back in the day, but they're in the box. They're in a vault somewhere.
So I think Bill is actually doing another Zen project with Steve Stern this year. So.
Yeah, we actually have a new Zen project that I believe Steve is going to launch it on Indiegogo. It's going to be at some point during the summertime. Please keep your eyes and ears on that. I'll be posting about that on my Facebook page and on all my social media once we get a little bit closer to having artwork to show. And Steve's already got script. We got the plan all laid out. We're really excited about it. So
fantastic.
Got some things going on. Yeah.
Okay, and then so Entity growing. Here's a licensed book that I did not even know existed. Oh, by the way, not Brand Ech. Heroinberg bringing up not Brand Ech. And we did not mention it, and we should have. Maybe we should have mentioned Plop, or we should mention. And if you really want to talk fun, what do you want to talk? Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, Don, I still come back to as being an underrated comic. You said you liked it. I say especially the Dave Mavrides color issues were just fantastic, amazing comics, far beyond just like stoner comics or whatever you want to call them.
I heard, Dan, the Freak Brothers is going to be like a movie, like with Pete Davidson and stuff.
It's a series on Netflix, I believe, too. It's on its way.
Maybe that's what it is.
I'm working with Matthew McConaughey, I think, or Woody Harrelson, or somebody along those lines.
That makes sense.
I am working on Gilbert Shelton, but that's not an easy nut to crack. I really would like to talk to that guy, too. We'll have to settle for Ron Turner next week, though, and company. I think that should be a pretty fun interview.
Yeah. Wasn't he like the last gasp publisher? Is that
right? He is the publisher, the beginning and the end. It's the 51st anniversary of Last Gasp today.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, today is the 51st anniversary. There was going to be the 50th anniversary of Slow Death, and this has just been released this year, Slow Death Zero, guys. If you're fans of Slow Death, you want to pick this up because this is not just a great, let me see here, not just a good nostalgia trip. This is one of the best comics I've read all year, without a doubt, and filled some of the best creators out there, including friend of the show Peter Bagg and guys like what's his face, Brian Talbot. Just like beautiful stuff by Brian Talbot. Look at this next week for sure.
Did you ever read William Ray's stuff? I think he had a story in the original Slow Death, but he was an artist. He was the main colorist on the Ren and Stimpy comic book series.
Yeah.
What we have a Eureka connection there, because Sam Ray, his father, who unfortunately passed, he was our mentor on Overload magazine, because he was working for the U.S. Forest Service up here, and he got a copy of Overload, and he said, I like what you guys are doing. Can I contribute? And he just brought this whole level of professionalism on lettering and inking. He even inked some of my earlier stuff. But him and William, I think, had a story in the original Slow Death series back in the day.
I would love to check that out. I would also like to take a peek at that Overload magazine someday, Don. You got copies of that?
Very few, but I'll try to see if I have an extra one. I think
you don't have to give it to me, but we could look at them together. I'd love to have you back on the show sometime. We could take a look at them. I just wanted to bring these up because these were, there was a cash grab when Turtles came out, right? There were a lot of knockoffs that wanted to be the somethings. And
yes.
But this was special. There was good writing in this. It just seemed like the characters had a life of their own beyond just being a parody. You want to talk about that a little bit, Don? I
definitely felt like they were infused with their each individual personality, because they were named after martial arts characters. So Chuck was after Chuck Norris, so he was kind of the more calm, spiritual hamster with nunchucks. And then you had Jackie after Jackie Chan, so he was very playful and immature. He liked to collect toys. And then you had Bruce, which was Bruce after Bruce Lee, and he was kind of the brainy one that could fix things and just pretty smart. And then Clint was the wild card, who I modeled after Clint Eastwood. So he would rather have a gun than martial arts weapons.
And a nice punk rock mohawk. And,
I grew up with a new wave, Billy Idol and Bow Wow Wow and all those groups.
And that just shows, obviously, in the work. But like stuff like this is to me, this is a real, I don't know, this is Miller-esque, I want to say, right? Like you're going for, Turtles itself was a parody really of Daredevil in many ways.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Daredevil and Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just like also the Tick was, I found it really interesting that Frank Miller spawned not only such successful, like he was such an amazingly creative, transformative talent that the stuff he did was great, but then like the parodies of stuff that he did became legendary. Like those early issues of the Tick are straight up Oedipus instead of Elektra, right?
I like Ben Adlin's Tick.
Oh man, that stuff's the best. I would love to. That's another guy I would love to talk to sometime.
Yeah, I think he's like a Hollywood producer. He was on Firefly.
Yeah, and then wrote and produced the cartoon, the Tick cartoon, and the Tick live action series. 2 Tick live action series now there have been. How amazing is that?
Good for him.
It definitely had legs, right? It's like I love the black and white books when they came out. I've got the omnibus sitting on my shelf over here.
Okay, this one. Let's see, who did this one?
That's a Personavich.
Okay. All right.
Mike Drigenberg cover with Personavich interiors.
Oh man, great style he's got going on here.
Yeah, he started to kind of come into his own.
It's almost like a Max Crumb style to me, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
not Robert Crumb, but like his brother.
Oh, really? I didn't even know he had a brother that was doing comedy.
Oh, yeah. He's got 2 crazy brothers. Go watch that Crumb documentary. I used to know his sons. I knew one of them died just recently, not actually not far from here. I think he died out just outside of Eureka. Jesse
Oh.
Crumb. Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty sad. Sorry to be a downer, guys.
I know.
Well,
talking about
Time is a beast. I know.
This stuff looks great. I really like it. I really like Parsonovich too.
Yeah,
nice.
He's still in the area. He's still in Humboldt. I don't think he's cartooning anymore. Barry gave me an update on him, and I think he's like on disability from he went into work like as a boiler maker or working on oil rigs as a welder or something like that. But he had a very unique style.
Okay, this a lot more sparse style, a lot more reminiscent maybe of Barry Windsor Smith and or Frank Miller.
Yeah, kind of Sienkiewicz-y, Bill Sienkiewicz. Those guys.
Yeah.
So
I really like.
That's Clint, and the Hamsters book complete with the glasses and everything.
I know. So now this is hard to show in 3D, but actually doesn't look too bad. So Ty Templeton, talk about Ty Templeton, how he got involved with this, and what a talent.
Yeah, he was already, I think, doing some stuff with Eclipse, and then Eclipse was so happy with the way that the black and white book was selling. They said, we're starting to do these 3D books with Ray Zone. We think we'd like to try to do a Hamsters one. So I wrote the script, and they told me Ty was going to do it. Yeah, there you go. He was drawing the new wave already for them, which was a book. But I think his niche, honestly, is humor. If you've ever read his Stig's book. So we just got lucky, and Ty was available to draw that Hamsters 3D, and it just, to me, it's like one of the best Hamsters books.
It is beautiful. He is. I mean, no, the other books, like I said, I really liked, but Ty Templeton really showing a really heavy cartooning chops way back then.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I want to put these glasses on and read it and get a headache later. Really looking forward to that one, Bill.
Yeah. Feel free to review anything we send. We would be happy to.
I haven't read it yet, but I haven't gone back and reread these again because, of course, I read them as a kid. But I will bring them out. I'll bring them out on $1 Million Comics Camp sometime. We'll go in a little more.
I got a flashback when you said about the headaches. I remember those 3D glasses used to give me such a headache, but they were so fun to look at. I didn't stop anyway.
They used to stink, right? Like I would never even want. And then Ray Zone came on the scene, right?
Oh.
And then like you look at that Batman 3D book he did with John Byrne. Have you ever seen that one?
No, wow.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Comes with these punch out bat signal shaped glasses and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
And the combination of just John Byrne, he was drawing for it. Like he really understood what to do to accentuate the effects. And then Ray Zone came in and just does it. I don't know how that guy does it.
Yeah. Fortunately he passed. I was looking forward to maybe seeing if maybe his son or someone else carried on his art craft, but I don't think anyone else. What's that?
For real? I didn't know that about Ray.
Yeah, he passed in I think he passed around 2014, and he actually worked on a movie with Thomas Jane doing 3D work, and then that was probably one of his last things that he ever did.
Whoa. And you mean him or Thomas Jane?
No, sorry. He's in the Expanse. I've seen him lately, so.
Sorry, I'm sneaking in Thomas Jane. Who needs a knock at Thomas Jane? I don't know.
I know, right?
All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you so much. I want to go back to the reader comments. If we got any more questions, we're going to go into our Q&A period now. Bring it on. We've got a lot of people watching. They've been watching full time, including your pal and my pal, Don. You seemed like you knew Heroinberg.
Yeah.
Right.
Heroinberg's a great supporter of our cause and moderates my channel. And I have their comics as well. And I've had them on my show, Heroinberg and one of their other Pittsburgh-based creators named Marvin Wynn.
Okay, I'm from Pittsburgh, so it's time to have that Pittsburgh-based show. Herrenberger, if you're still watching right now, reach out to me. Let's do this. Let's do a Pittsburgh comic show. Maybe we can get. I don't know. There's a couple other famous Pittsburgh cartoonists that I've had on this show recently. We had Piscor, we had Jim Rugg, and we had Tom Scioli not too long ago.
Awesome.
Okay. Amazingly, all of the Tix TV shows, both animated and live action, were great short lifespans. Though I agree, they were all great and in different ways, which was really
in different ways. Yeah.
Like totally different. The last Tick TV show, which honestly I didn't finish watching, but I watched the first early preview season, and it was intriguing and definitely way different than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else we got here? Okay, Heroinberg coming through one more time. Oh, did Sophie Crumb work with Fantagraphics? She may have. I know she worked at the comic book store of the late great Rory Root, one of my good friends and comic book retailing mentors. Did you know Rory? Don, you must have.
Yeah, he wore a hat at cons, right?
Rory? He wore a hat. Indeed.
Yeah, I remember Rory. He kind of was what did he look like? He kind of looked like Meatloaf to me. I don't know. Maybe I remember him now. He was a nice guy.
Or he looked almost maybe one of the giants on Harry Potter or whatever that guy was named.
He was a big man.
He was a big man in many ways, not just in size, but in stature and the industry and his effect on retailing. He's a hero and a friend and creator. I'm going to say the greatest comic book store of all time. Maybe that's not true, but in my mind, it always will be. There will never be anything greater than Comic Relief in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how many more deaths can we bring up, guys? How much?
I don't know. It's like who's still left? It's like
any more deaths in the family to bring up to spice up this conversation?
I know.
Well, guys, I want to thank you. I got to get out of here. I got to get back to work. I know you guys have lots of work to do, getting ready to ship and fulfill this Kickstarter, crowdfunded Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah.
So, why don't you give us your final thoughts here, Dom? Where can we find this book?
You can find X-Farce Reloaded is in demand, it's actually shipping from the printer. So if someone wanted to buy X-Farce, you don't have to wait like a year to get it like you normally do. It's going to be in our hands probably next week. So that one's shipping. We still have merchandise from that, like lunch boxes and like here's like a ceramic mug we have on our site. So just go to xfarce.com for that. And then
Don, did you reach out to Sam Keith for a Beardzzerker?
I may.
Dude,
I have.
How awesome would that be? It's like if you don't do it, I'll be so I'll literally be angry.
We have a plan to maybe bring back our Max parody bill, and have that colored again. So we did a parody of Sam's Max, and he thought it was pretty cool. So we'd like to get some more eyes on that.
And I mean, crowdfunding and bringing things back. Mm-hmm. Any talk of bringing the Hamsters back or for a return?
Actually, Dan, if you didn't know this, Dynamite Comics owns the Hamsters now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I sold them the rights. They did a miniseries back in 2007 or 2008. And then, I was in real estate, so I wasn't doing comics full time. And so they reached out to me, and I just thought, I don't really think I have the time to go back and do more Hamsters. So he made me a really good offer, and that's it belongs in their plethora of licensed characters now. Oh,
God bless Nick Barucci and his bottomless pile of comic book cash. We love that guy. Right? Fantastic. Okay.
But, maybe I can ask him if we could maybe have a Hamsters guest appearance if we do another parody or something like that. But
I'll tell you, if you could arrange a Sam Keith cover for it, he'd publish it in a second, I'll bet.
He probably would. Yeah. I've got some connections with Sam.
I guess it would be too weird for us to do a parody of the Hamsters, considering the parodies are Hamsters are. Let's do a parody of a parody of a parody. This is like breaking the seventh wall.
I know. You're blowing my mind, man. I don't know if I can do that.
I know. It might step on a toe. Maybe that's too far, because technically we could do a parody of anything. It's a First Amendment right.
Like you do.
Menopausal jujitsu. No, there was already a jujitsu gerbil, wasn't there? I think
there was a jujitsu gerbils, gangrene geriatric jujitsu gerbils.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a ripoff for you guys. I felt like that was the ripoff.
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
Okay, Bill,
you never know, Don.
Give us your plugs. Where can we find stuff about you? Bill Miles Art Studio. What else you got to plug?
Oh yeah, no, that's I'm just right in between things right now as far as like other projects. Beardzzerker is kind of what I'm on right now. This is what I'm working on. This is my present, ever-present project at the moment. So beardzzerker.com, please come out and support us. It's going to be a lot of fun. My webpage, you had the link up for billmilesart.studio. That's cool. I interact a lot more often on Facebook. That's just where people happen to be, where it's easy for me to interact with everybody. So I'm at Facebook at either Bill Mouse or Bill Mouse Art. You'll be able to find me easily that way. I've got an Instagram, same thing, Bill Mouse Art. It just, I just post things there, but I interact a lot more on Facebook. And Beardzzerker. Beardzzerker is the order of the day. So let's do that.
Okay. Well, and thanks
for having us. This is great.
Great.
Oh, of course, guys. I want to thank you for making the time to come in here and doing these books, and for spreading the love of fun comics. I think that's what the theme of our show today was: fun comics.
Yeah, that's what the industry needs right now. That's the least amount of books I've been seeing coming out from the plethora of books that come out. So let's just put some, because there's room for everything, So it's like let's get some more fun books out there that are just for fun, just a good time.
Sam and Matt, we'd love to see them again.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I'm reaching out to Purcell too. I'm trying to get him on the. I'm friends on Facebook with him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Guys,
we'll make it a mission to get that Sam Keith cover.
Well, and Herrenberg also saying, how about a Bill Messner Lobes? Bring Billy Lobes back again too. Okay. Guys, thank you for taking the time. I know you got to stream tonight. Preview tonight. Beardzzerker drops tonight at 7:00. Thanks for coming. I hope maybe you guys will come back again sometime and just talk about it.
Oh, we love it. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a plan, dude.
Guys, I got to do the closing credits and the call outs and stuff. If you want to talk afterwards, you could stick around. Feel free to stick around, but if you got to go, I understand.
Okay. Yeah, I got to drop out, but I'll see you next time. It's like we got things happening in the future, so that'd be great.
Great, you got an open invite. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right, you bet.
Oh, and thank you, folks, for coming in here. Wait, let's go back to the Bat Cave. Thank you for watching the show and being a part of Comic Book News. Wasn't that great? It's really fun to meet people in your community that are into what you're in. I didn't know that there was a guy with as much comics history as Don Chin who lived right in my neighborhood, essentially. So that was fantastic. I want to thank Don and Bill for coming on in and being great sports with all my goofy jokes. Thank you, people, for watching. Yeah, even you comic gate people who want to try and get under my skin. It's fine. It's fine. I don't really have anything against any y'all. I really love anybody who's interested in comics and wants to promote the medium. Let's just get past any negativity and move forward into the future of comics. Thank you for watching, subscribing. Check us out next time for what? Who? Oh my God, the return of Ron Turner and Slow Death Zero, the classic underground eco horror reborn. After that, who knows? We'll get Brian Hitch in here eventually. Again, I'm not going to rush him, but Brian, I can't wait to talk to you about your amazing work and influence on the industry. Oh man, but until then, we're going to be coming at you with more stuff. I know I keep talking about the weird stuff I got coming, but man, trust me when I say I've got something unlike anything on YouTube now that's been out there, at least in the comic book world. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with y'all. I'm securing all the legal trademarks and whatnot as we speak to make that happen. So thanks for watching. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play the closing credits. And will I play a closing cameo at the end? Oh, I always play a little something. So come on, check out the closing credits because you might see your name in there. If you're a supporter If you want to see your name in those credits, frankly, I haven't added a new name to there for a while. So if you've got the time, you can spend as little as $2 a month. $1.99 will get you into these closing credits. Click on that subscribe button for more. There's other tiers and levels of memberships you could pursue if you were so inclined. But I'll be happy if you just watch us and you come back here again and again and check us out. And you'll see us here in the not too distant future, otherwise known as next time.